Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's the final days of our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Parles-tu français? Hablas español? Parli italiano? If you've used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world. With lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers, Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Wondery. Spelled BABBEL.com/Wondery. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Welcome back to Dating Intentionally. I'm Talia. I'm sharing no-nonsense advice for navigating dating and relationships with confidence and ease. Whether you've been dating for a while or you're just starting out, I believe dating can be fun. So today I am sharing a throwback episode from last June. This is my first of 2 episodes with my favorite dating podcast duo, which you'll hear in a moment. And if you're listening to this the week it comes out, I hope you're having a lovely holiday or long weekend or just regular Friday. I'm actually celebrating Johnny's birthday today, even though it was yesterday, and we're getting ready for a very long family vacation, which I'm very much looking forward to. Okay, so enjoy this throwback, and on Tuesday, I'll be back with a new episode all about why we feel anxious even when things are going really well, so stay tuned for that. Today, I'm talking to Julie and Yue, the host of Dateable, which is easily one of the best dating podcasts out there. They've been in the game for a long time. And, Julie and Yue have been in the trenches of dating, talking about it on their podcast for years. And I'm so glad they came on Dating Intentionally to share some of what they've learned with us. Their insight is so helpful. They've seriously seen it all. In this episode, you're going to hear about common mistakes in dating and how to avoid them, how to have better conversations on dates, and advice for people who have been single for what feels like way too long. We also get into what skills daters need to develop to enjoy the process more and actually find success. And at the end, we do a rapid fire round of this game I made up called Is It a Red Flag? Let's get into it. Welcome to the Dating Intentionally podcast, Julie and Yue from Dateable. You guys are legends. I'm so happy that you're here right now.
Oh, I'm going to put that on a shirt that says, I'm a legend.
We are happy to be here as well. So thank you.
I was on your podcast last week and I was saying it's wild because I listened to you during my dating journey and now you're here on my podcast. It's just like full circle.
It's so fun.
Oh, I love it. Well, I want to kick it off with a Hinge prompt. And you guys are just saying that it's been a while since you have maybe ever answered a prompt on a dating app, which is interesting as dating coaches. So this is a prompt from Hinge that I chose for you. It's, you should not go out with me if.
Ooh. Okay, I'll say I have definitely answered Hinge prompts because that's where I met my partner.
There you go.
It's the non-dating app one. But ooh, that's a good one. I mean, I think for me, it's emotionally available. I feel like that's a deal breaker for me. If you're not willing to put your emotions out there and go deep and really talk stuff out, that's a no for me.
That's a no. Okay. That's a good one.
You should not go out with me if you do not like animals in your bed. It's a huge
kind of
point
animal you have in your bed?
Well, only a dog for now, but who knows? I might add more animals.
Yeah, I think,
we'll go slow.
That's a good one. Honestly, like I know you're not using the apps at this moment, but I think that's a pretty good one because it shows you have a pet, and that the pet sleeps in your bed, and it's like you gotta be cool with that.
And they're not going to get out of bed just because there's a new person in bed. I think that's
they're there first.
Important point. Yeah.
I think mine would be if your only hobby is playing video games.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good one.
Have you had a bad experience with that?
No, it's just not for me. I need people. I like people who have I don't mind some screen involved activities, but that's your only thing. It's just not for me.
But what if they make their living playing video games, which many do?
Well, then hopefully you're doing something outside your work time. That's not
true.
Like your hobby is not your work. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if your work is gaming, then what are you doing when you're not working?
Right.
So, yeah, that would
Good
be my
point.
answer. Yeah. Well, love it. Okay. So I want to hear, just so everyone else can hear also, your origin story. How did you two meet? What's your story?
On Hinge, we answer this prompt. You should not date me if you're not a podcast co-host. We met, I guess it's been, 9 years now, Julie?
Yeah,
we met 9 years ago. So this was a very, it's like a very important year to think about. Like, think back to that time is we're at the pinnacle of like online dating, and swiping just became this widely adopted behavior. And online dating had been around for a while, but Tinder came on the scene in 2012. So Julie and I met because we bonded over how we were just like not sure how modern dating looked like for us, because we were straddling the old and the new. We grew up in a very traditional dating culture society. And then now it's like with online dating, what is in store for us? None of our predecessors know. So when Julie and I met, we were like, you know what? How are other people doing it? How are other people navigating the dating scene right now? And that's why we started the podcast, was to figure it out.
Yeah. And did you guys meet at work? Like what?
No, we actually met through the company I had started at the time, which actually plays into this. It was called 500 Brunches. And the idea was that you would connect in real life with people with similar interests. And a lot of this was stemmed out of my own frustration with dating apps because, as Yue alluded to, 2012 Tinder came out. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. I remember being so excited that I got like a message immediately and like running to my roommate at the time and being like, someone messaged me. They said DTF. And she was just like, I don't ever want to go on that thing.
Like, oh my God, they said ASL.
But I was so excited because like we had come from like, Match and things that are foreign to everyone now, where you'd sit waiting for a message to come like for like weeks. So at that point I was riding the high, but then by the time I had met Yue, I feel like I was like, this isn't working. Why can't I ever get past a third date on a dating app? And that's when I made this, startup, and we met through here because it wasn't dating specifically.
Right.
It was just to meet people.
I love that. That's so cool. You guys are such badasses. This is amazing. I mean, and I will say I relate. Like I would remember using OkCupid, the website, on my phone. I do remember I was like definitely like an early, like I needed to be on the internet at all times on my phone before like there was like apps really for like before iPhones really had taken over. I was still trying to access this on my like BlackBerry, and I remember like waiting for the responses and the messages online, which is so weird now. But I guess they still exist. Like dating, like the web version of these things still exists. So
Match.com back in the day was through email, so you were waiting for people's actual emails.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is so wild.
It still exists, but everything today is just faster, right? It's all instantaneous, which was not the case before.
Right. Oh my gosh. So true. So, okay, you guys have been doing the Dateable Podcast for 9 years? 8 years?
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so I feel like you've seen like dating trends before the pandemic, during the pandemic, now we're after the pandemic. What are some of the biggest dating mistakes listeners are probably making like right now in 2024?
Mistakes. So many.
Okay, I like to start there.
I mean, the mistake that so many daters are making now post-pandemic would be not filtering before meeting someone in real life. There's still, now we're going back to pre-pandemic when people just went on date after date without actually thinking like, is this someone I do want to meet in person? And during the pandemic, if you remember, video calls were so hot, it was like cool to get on Zoom before meeting in real life because you were able to gauge some sort of compatibility. But now people are kind of skipping that step again.
Yeah, there was a lot more intentionality, which goes to your podcast.
Right. So you think screening or not screening is a big mistake we're making right now in dating. Okay. It's really interesting because like it's hard as a dater because you have so many different pieces of advice coming from all directions. Like some people are like, no, get to the date as quickly as possible. Like 10 messages, boom, you're done. Like get off the apps, like go meet in person. But so, okay, how can we effectively screen? What's like a good method for that?
I don't think we're saying don't get to the date because agree 100%. There's absolutely no way you could tell from a dating profile. And that's probably like another mistake we see people making is just reading between the lines and overanalyzing and wasting time where it doesn't matter. That's probably just brings to like larger dating fatigue we're in the midst of right this minute.
Oh my God, yeah, for
but
real.
To your point of like, how do we screen? I think the pandemic was actually a unique experience because going out was actually like life threatening in a way, right? So you had to really make sure you were choosing wisely. And now we don't have that, which is better all in all. But I think the thing that's different is that we aren't even taking like that extra step to be like, is this someone that I can hold a conversation with? Mm-hmm. Like we would do a lot of video and phone screening and people have completely abandoned that now. And I personally think that was a really good extra step because you can get a little more than like a texting black hole, but you also like can move on to the next step of meeting in real life.
Mm-hmm. This is so interesting because like I've missed pandemic dating. I was in a relationship pretty much in like through vaccine era, like after all that. So like I got in my relationship in like late 2021. So, but like I think about my fiance, we did the screening process that you're describing because he didn't live in my city.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, it did kind of work in that we had 2 or 3 Zoom calls. Or Google Hangouts, he'll correct me on that. And then we were able to, by the time we got met in person, we had already had some kind of rapport and everything, and we knew the date was going to go well. Like, I mean, we were like 99% sure the date was going to go well. Yeah.
I think that's the thing. Like, I remember when I was in the serial dating phase and I would go into every date and be like, oh yeah, I'm not going to even save their number in my phone because there's a pretty good chance I'll never see this person again. That is a terrible way to go into a date. Like, I might as well have not gone at that point.
Yeah.
You know, like the getting excited. And it's ironic because I met my partner during the pandemic too, and he's the only one I didn't phone screen. But
so basically what we're proving is there's no like science to this.
No, but I was still excited to go out with him though. I think that was probably the overarching, the actual like the way you're showing up that you're happy to be there, that's going to set the tone of the whole date.
Right. Okay. I think this is one of those things like we want, like you were saying earlier, the instantness of dating and like getting to the date, but it's like, actually, no, we can slow down a little bit, be more selective. You'll have better dates. And I think it's hard though, because I feel like everyone's in a big rush.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Everyone's in a rush.
What is that?
To do
what do you guys
what?
think of that? I know.
What are they rushing to do? I'm so confused. Where are they rushing to go? And
I think a lot of people are like, I just want to find them already.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like that energy that you bring onto a date where you're like, okay, just save my time. Are you it or what?
Yeah.
Like let's just get to the end, right? Nobody wants that kind of energy on a date. You don't feel special. You don't feel safe. You don't feel valued or respected. You just feel like a number. And the rush is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is a lot of daters feel like if this doesn't work out, I'll just go back to swiping. And there's a ton of other people. Again, that puts you in this energy of like, this is just another number, just another prospect. Let's see what happens. And if you're on the receiving end, you don't feel special at all. You just feel like you're in a lineup.
That's totally. I mean, none of that sounds good.
No.
So what are some ways that other than screening, we can break that cycle?
I mean, I think you asked what's the biggest challenge today, and it's the dating fatigue that people are in. And it's because the magic of dating has been removed completely. No one sees dating as fun anymore. And I think if there's one thing that it could be is the mindset shift of like, I'm there to meet someone interesting and have a good time instead of like, is this going to be my future husband? Or who am I like, you know, all the work that's associated with it.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to save this topic to later, but we're kind of getting to it now. And which is how to have better dates, especially conversations. I get a lot of questions about like conversations on dates and how to like why people aren't connecting. Like, how do you actually make a connection? One person thinks it's a great conversation. The other person is like, I didn't feel it. So what do you think is going on there? Like, what is something we can do to start having better dates and more fun?
It's such a great topic because it's the ultimate unlock to human connection. How do you establish rapport as quickly as possible? And they've done studies about this with friends. Why do you think you have rapport with your friends? It's because you have something that you can reminisce about. Like you have this commonality or reference point where you can say, remember that time in college, or remember the time we went out for drinks, or because it brings you back to a shared moment in time. So for daters to get to that part of rapport building, start talking about what you liked about the other person's profile. Like, what was it that caught your attention? You know, and that brings the other person into the conversation instead of you two talking at each other about your careers, your family, whatever. It's like, oh, I want to talk about us, like you in relation to us.
Well, I think the issue is the dater view. Like, we need to stop having dater views, which is basically an interview on a date where you run through all those questions of where did you go to college? What do you do for work? It's like spitting out the resume, and that's just not a natural way to meet. I think what we've realized from doing Dateable is like so much of dating is not natural. It's not the way people connect anymore. And I know, at least from my experience, the best dates I had is when I dropped the date talk and just got to know this person as a friend. Like,
okay. Yeah. So what's an example of that? Like, how do we know what's the difference? Like we know dater view, like interview, that's kind of top. What's like friend talk? What does that look like?
I mean, I had an example with an ex of mine. We just started talking about like pranks we pulled on our friends for like the first 20 to 30 minutes of the date. And it was really fun because it felt like I was just connecting with someone. And then we went into stuff. You know, it's not like people think they need to like get into it right away, right?
I like that. And what I noticed from that anecdote is like you had to at some point mention or reveal about yourself that you had done pranks before. Like in these conversations, we have to actually give up some information that's below the surface level stuff too. Like that's our part. We can't just like hope it'll just show up. Like you need to give a little bit too, and not be afraid to like share these random details that pop into your brain.
Well, that's such a good point, because instead of you talking about, let's say, what do you do for work, you can share about your day at work and what were some of the challenges you experienced today, and maybe even ask your date for some advice. That brings them into your world without you going, I'm an accountant, I've been at this firm for 5+ years. Like, I can find that out on your LinkedIn.
That's so, oh my God. Yeah. If you can find out on LinkedIn, like probably not a good topic on a date.
No.
So I overheard a date over the weekend that was horrible. And it's like, it was definitely a first date. And it was, a guy and a girl sitting behind us. We were like, our backs were to them, but we were right next to them. So you could hear everything and like listen without them knowing. And this guy was really interrogating this poor girl, like past relationships. He was also like kind of lecturing her about something related to his work. And I heard him ask a lot of questions, but also somehow did not hear her talk at all.
Yes.
It was so weird. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. Like, I wish I could like hold up a judge sign, like a number. Like that was a 2.
I mean, there's definitely some mansplaining on this, but we like to call this date. There's a few bad dates we can think of. And one of them is the date review that we talked about, the solo act, where it is,
you guys are
it's like a 2-drink minimum to go to it, where you're just, telling people all your accomplishments, everything that you got going on. And then therapy session is the third one.
Okay, so those are the 3 bad dates. Yeah. Okay, so what if like I'm on a date and it dawns on me like, oh my God, I am in a solo act date, or I am in a therapy date. How do I help as a team like get out of this, vibe?
One way to think about this is it's out of good intentions. Like nobody's going into a date being like, it's my solo act, I'm testing some material. They're probably really nervous. Yeah. So if you're on the receiving end, one way to just kind of make it a little bit better for yourself is to just maybe like tap them on the knee or on the shoulder and be like, Are you nervous? Because I was definitely nervous coming into this date. Are you feeling a little nervous? Just to break the tension a little bit. Sometimes people get on a rant and they forget that they've been talking for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. You can
That's
also
so
go to
true.
the bathroom to break it up and just like have a natural re-emergence.
Oh, I love that. The bathroom move
We
is
love
like
a bathroom
refresh,
break.
like a
Yep.
restart. Just,
Exactly.
oh my God.
Just make sure you come back.
Yeah. We had a story about that, the bathroom veil, where they just never came back.
No. I was thinking that's kind of like, it's like your date's an Etch-a-Sketch. You just like shake it, start over.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, shake up the
Take
vibe,
two.
you know, or
Yeah,
like
take
change
two.
your seating. Be like, oh, there's better seating over there. Let's go over.
Yeah.
You know, just change up the vibe a little bit.
Okay, so these tips are so great. So do you guys believe in like having go-to questions for dates? I get asked this more than anything is like, what are some questions I can ask to get to know my date better? And it's like I'm always like, you don't really have it's not really about questions. Like we can have a whole conversation and not ask each other one question and still get to know each other. So what do you think?
I have a lot of opinions on this because
I'm
we've
ready.
heard this also. We've gotten this before. And I think I get it. Like some people need something to grab onto. And I get that. What ends up happening though, when you go in with an agenda is you're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
So like if someone is telling you about their dog and in your head, you're thinking about the next question of where you want to like ask them what countries they visited.
Or if you're UI, does your dog sleep in the bed?
Right. Yeah. That's a great follow-up question.
But then you like
we're
miss
listening.
the point that like they said that they just put their dog down and then you're
Oh, right.
like, so where do you go on vacation? Like it comes off so tone deaf. And I think
True.
that's the risk you run, is it not feeling like an organic conversation. So my personal take is if you're going to have questions, it's one question. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And, make that like a question. Maybe it's when you get back from the bathroom that it's a fresh start.
Ooh.
And that can start the whole convo. But make sure that you're not like waiting to use this question. Like it needs to come at a time that feels natural.
Yeah,
as
like
well.
if there's a lull. Like
Yeah.
I would have some of
Yeah.
those if there was like a lull or we just kind of naturally finished talking about a certain topic and I was like, okay, I'm going to jump in with my question.
Right.
And I mean, I want to push back a little bit because I think it's okay to have some questions or some topics you want to get into based on what's important to you.
Yeah,
But I
totally.
agree it can totally fall into agenda mode of like, and then you're just judging them and you're in judgmental mode. You're not even like making space for them to show up who they are.
Right.
I used to go into dates with like certain topics of like, I want to learn and see if they're the kind of person who travels. I want to see if they're the kind of person who spends time with their family. Like, but I wasn't going to walk away from the date if they answered in a way I didn't like.
That's the key differentiator, though, is going from questions to learnings. If you go in with what I want to learn, you don't have preset questions in mind. You're just going in with a curious mindset. And maybe you go in with that one thing you really want to learn about this person based on the profile. I really want to learn why they decided to move to the city. Maybe that's
right.
it.
I mean, I also think it's fun to just learn. Like people are a wealth of information. Like sometimes dates are fun when you're just like, what could I learn from this person? Like what cool things do they know? What cool things have they experienced that they can share? Do they have travel tips for me for somewhere?
Right.
I also love when I'm talking to someone and it's like you find my game, like my agenda, I guess, was to find a topic that lit them up. That they got really. So I would like kind of feel the conversation out to see what would spark that. And if it did, then you hang out there for a while and you like talk about that. And that's like a really good way to feel connected to your date.
For sure.
Yeah. And I think it's totally valid to have like, I want to see what this person is, what their intentions are with dating. But I think there's a huge difference of being like, where do you see yourself in 5 years versus like trying to just get to like, what is it that they're looking for? And that can be like a very casual conversation too. It doesn't need to be a grilling session.
Yeah. Love it. These tips are amazing. I've been on a lot of first dates, and normally I'd feel pretty good about myself going into them. but I was almost always self-conscious about my nails. I was a lifelong nail biter until I started taking care of them consistently, and now I use Olive & June's Mani system, which makes having freshly polished, well-maintained nails so much easier. There's something about having a manicure that makes me feel like my life is so much more together. Olive & June's Mani system is amazing. It comes with everything you need to keep your nails looking great with salon-grade tools and 6 high-quality nail polishes of your choice. You can DIY a professional-looking manicure without leaving your couch, setting up an appointment, or spending a lot thanks to Olive & June's Mani system. It ends up being about $2 per manicure, which I know for me means a lot because going to the salon frequently really adds up. And that's why I started doing it myself in the first place. Olive & June also has gel mani systems, pedicure systems, and so many different polish colors to choose from, and press-ons. Their press-on options are adorable, and if you're looking for a gift for someone who loves nail care, Olive & June is the best option. Visit oliveandjune.com/dating20 for 20% off your first system. That's oliveandjune.com/dating20 for 20% off your first system. What I love about doing this show is that I get to introduce listeners to all these different ways to get support in their dating journeys. And one of the main ways is therapy. You've probably heard me talk about how working with a therapist for the last 7 or 8 years has helped me improve not just my romantic relationship, but my friendships and my family relationships too. The hard part is finding a therapist that actually works with your insurance. Having done it a few times, I can tell you from experience, it's harder than it sounds. That's why I'm so excited to partner with Rula, a healthcare company that makes getting quality therapy simple and affordable. Rula works with most major insurance plans, and sessions can cost as little as $15, sometimes even $0, depending on your coverage. This is huge. If you've ever worked with a therapist, you know sometimes the cost can be astronomical, and I love that Rula makes it easier on your wallet. Finding a therapist on your own can be overwhelming, but Rula supports you every step of the way, helping you find the right therapist, stay consistent, and actually make progress. They have a network of over 15,000 licensed therapists and psychiatrists across the country, and they'll match you with someone who fits your needs and preferences. You can start meeting with your therapist as soon as the next day. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head over to rula.com/datingintentionally to get started today. After you sign up, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them our show sent you. Go to rula.com/datingintentionally and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares. I want to shift gears a little bit, and this is another thing that comes up a lot that I just want to hear your take on, because you guys have been in this a lot longer than me, and that is, what is your advice for someone who's been single forever, like for years and years, trying everything to find a good match, but it's just not happening?
And we hear this many times too, and I was definitely one of these.
Oh, really? Okay.
People. I was single for almost 9 years before meeting someone that I fell in love with. And I kept thinking, like, is there something wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? I had to really think back to those 9 years and ask myself, what was I doing? What was I prioritizing during that time? And I realized everything was in flux for me. I didn't have my career in order. I wasn't even in the same city for more than 3 months at a time. I was just like jet setting all over the world. And I was very curious about all kinds of different people. Even though I was single, I was just learning more about myself. I was prioritizing the experiences than being in a relationship. So I would challenge anyone who feels like they've been single forever. Well, you use that time for something else. So what was that something else? And how can you spin the story into, instead of saying I was single for so long, I learned X, Y, and Z for a really long time. And I prioritized that. But now I am prioritizing finding a relationship.
I also feel like every experience builds on each other too. So like, even if you didn't have, a committed relationship, even if you had a situationship or friends with benefits or something that wasn't the real deal, I feel like we say I'm single or I'm in a relationship. It's like so black and white all the time. We don't look at how each experience helps us grow and get closer to what we're looking for. Like, I know when I was a similar as Yue, like single for forever, but then each experience, like I got a little closer to what it was that I was looking for. Like each one got a little more serious. I revealed more, they revealed more. So it's how can you look at wins that aren't just I'm single or I'm not single.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I think a lot of us, especially folks listening, especially if you're ambitious, are bad at celebrating wins. And really, we're like, if we're not getting what we want, it's like we can't see anything else that's good. Like, but like there is a lot of good. There is so many things. Like, think of all the things you've accomplished during your single journey. You know, that's all really valid. Like, we need to pay attention to that.
I know. We always say, like, if you're in a relationship, no one's like, why are you in a relationship? But if you're single, everyone's like, why are you single? Why haven't you found someone yet? Almost like treating it like a problem. And it's not a problem. It's a state of being. And there's so many privileges to being single. Of all the things you get to do while you're single, take advantage of that. Because you're going to miss that when you're in a relationship.
Yes. No, there are parts of being single I absolutely miss. You know, I always say the grass isn't greener. It's like the same grass. It's just like maybe just a little, just
a little different.
Still different. Yeah. But it's the same. You know, there's still, I always say being single is better than being in a relationship where you feel lonely.
Totally.
Like,
oh my God.
Yeah. You don't like, you're single because I always say like, you haven't found the person you want to be with yet. Like that actually works out. Like, you don't want to be with someone who doesn't value you or makes you feel unappreciated or anything. Like, it's okay. Yeah. That's great advice. I guess I'm thinking of like, there are some of my friends personally, they've been really trying and they feel their biological clock ticking. Like we're in our like mid 30s is creeping up on us like quickly. And it's like, okay, like, what's going on? So what are like some practical tips for this stage of life where you're like, okay, like I actually am focusing on dating, or I have been focusing on dating. It's not happening. I really want it to happen.
Yeah. I mean, we hear this. It's a hard place to be in. So I don't want to undermine any of that. There's a lot of stress that can come with it. So sometimes it's like, I can't just make dating fun. That's not like good advice. Like I want to get to my end goal. So I hear that coming from this type of dater. I think the real part that it's like taking back some of that work too. It's like you can keep putting yourself out there and by all means keep doing what you're doing. But how do you get like really clear about what you're looking for? Not just I want to get married and have kids, but this is the type of partner that like I need. Or maybe I don't want a partner. Maybe I do just want to have kids. And that's a decision too. Like we've had people do like our programs that came out of it. They're like, I'm just going to go solo on this. And there's so much that can come from it. But one of the biggest things we see of like, we're always like, you need to have your dating North Star. Like, where is it that you want to go? Because we see people act out of alignment all the time, which is, dating intentionally.
Yeah, I talk about this a lot. I love that you're saying this. Like,
it's like we have someone, and I'm not saying these are your friends or everyone out there, but we've definitely seen this happen. It's like, I want to get married. I want this person, but then you're still entertaining the friends with benefits. So it's like, you have to look at like what's actually happening. And like, are you clearing your way for what it is you want?
So on that, another question I get a lot is like, well, I have my North Star. Like I'm looking for my person. I know what I want, but I have needs and I want to like have sex. Like, can I have friends with benefits or like just like can I have a hoe phase and look for my partner? What's your take on that?
Hoe phase and look for your partner. We do think that people take up space in your life and in your mind, whether they're just there for a one night stand or not. And if you're just filling a void by having like situationships and friends with benefits, you're not making space for the person that you want to be with. So in some ways, you can have your hoe phase, but it's like, do you want your hoe phase because you're filling a void, or are you doing it because it's truly like a dire need? Yeah,
good questions to ask yourself for sure.
And some people, it may take a while for people to truly understand, but like sometimes when we do things, we have to ask the why. Like, why am I calling up my ex right now? Why am I liking this guy's Instagram when I really have no intentions of being with him? It's like, let's just really pause before we take these actions.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think that people do take up space in your life. And, but I also think if you I always say, like, if you meet someone on a date because you're dating intentionally or whatever, you're dating for a partner and they're not it, but you have chemistry, I think it's fine to sleep with that person. Like knowing it's not like if you're on the same page and you're communicative about what's going on, I think it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're never going to say like, don't sleep with someone. Like everyone needs to do what works for them. But I know personally when I had these floating people, they took up a lot more energy than you think.
Yes.
And I know I would have met someone a lot sooner if I wasn't hung up on an ex or I wasn't in a situationship that was never going anywhere. So it's just taking an honest look at what's going on for you and then deciding what works and what is it that you really want.
Yeah.
Very true. So, okay, obviously you have a big audience, like tons of listeners. You've had tons of people in your programs and everything. What do you think is a common denominator of success in dating and like meeting people, dating and getting into relationships? Like, do you think it's just luck, timing? What else is going on in there?
We just really feel like if you want to be in a relationship, you have to get to a place where you don't need a relationship. Right?
Amen.
If you just really, if you're like, I just want to be with someone, I'm ready to find my person, I need, then you're not going to find that. But if you're like at a place where you're thinking, man, if I'm just by myself for a long time and I'm filling my own cup and I'm finding joy in my life, then a relationship is just the cherry on top. Sure, let's go for it, but I don't need it.
Yes. If I could like just take one clip from this episode, it would just be that. It's so true. Like when I met my fiance, I really like when I first met him, I really was like, I don't really care if this works out or not. I wasn't like, oh my God, I need this to work out. I found the perfect guy. I didn't know he was the one. And I was ready to keep dating. I was ready to be like, I don't care if this really works out. And because I was loving my life.
Yeah.
And I still am, for the record. but yeah, you have to have that foundation too.
I was in the exact same place like before I met my partner. I remember it was during COVID and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm going to be isolated on my own for 15 days, which ended up being like 2 years. But at the time, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to survive? And then like 15 minutes later, I'm like, I'm okay. Like, this is going to be okay. And I realized at that point that if this is what life was single, like it wasn't so bad. In fact, it was pretty freaking awesome. And because, you had all that already going on for you, it's a big part. And I think what that does too is that lets you date intentionally because you don't need someone to fill a Friday night. You're okay, either hanging with friends or hanging on your own instead of like, bending over backwards for someone that like hasn't returned your text in 3 weeks. You can be like, this isn't aligned with what I want. So I think it goes back to the North Star too, and having that intentional dating. Like I remember when before I met my partner, I was really excited about this one guy. And all of a sudden he just couldn't make time, like couldn't find an hour to meet up. And I had to be like, is this what I want? No, I want someone that prioritizes a relationship. And at that point, it was sending that text to be like, look, if this isn't you right now, that's cool, but I'm going to move on to find that person that is. And that's what opened it up.
I'm so glad you shared that because it's like so powerful. Like a lot of people in that same scenario could be like, well, I'll never find anyone who actually likes me. I should just try and make it work and like force it. But you were like, no, I'm probably going to find someone else who likes me. Like that's the chances are pretty high of that. I'm going to walk away from this because I don't like it.
But that was a testament to where I was at that time because a couple of years ago, I would not have been the same. I would have been hanging around for months probably trying to recreate it, Pick
me, The less they're interested, the more you want them to be interested.
Yeah. So what's something listeners can do to kind of move toward that common denominator of success, right? Of that kind of detached to the outcome vibe?
Baby steps.
Okay.
We get so much pressure in dating because we are always thinking in these grand milestones. Is this my person? Are we going to get married? Are we going to have kids? Is this going to last forever? These are so daunting. Like, how can you meet someone and even if you've known them for 5 years, still confidently say, this is my forever person? But if we're able to take baby steps, like, what do I want to learn about this person on this first date? What do I want to learn about myself in our first month of dating? We become less attached to the outcome and more about what am I learning from this right now? My friend Amy put it best. She said, I got married, not because I really think my partner is my forever partner or we have this grand love story. I wanted to know what other level of love I can unlock for myself. And I could find that out from marriage. I could find that out from having kids, or I could find that out from just being with someone else and deepening that connection. So it's like the question I would ask all of your listeners would be, what do you want to unlock for yourself in every experience that you have?
That's so beautiful. That's amazing. I never thought about it like that, but I love that.
I mean, relationships and dating can be our biggest teachers, but we don't view it that way. It's like a means to an end. But I think accepting and appreciating what it actually is, even just like the fact that someone is willing to go out with you on a Thursday night for an hour, where else in life does that happen? Not many places.
Right.
I feel like we take a lot of this for granted. So just enjoying all these moments, I know easier said than done when you're like attached to the outcome, but I think that's how you start to unattach. And there's also a difference of being intentional about what you want and attach to the outcome. Like to my example earlier, I still wanted a partner that would prioritize and, you know, be with me and build a life with me. But then when I saw it in someone that they couldn't be that person, instead of forcing them to do it, I just accepted the truth that they weren't it and moved on. I think so much of dating, for me personally, and for a lot of daters out there, it's this, you know, getting ahead of yourself, building things up to be something that they actually aren't. So being realistic about what's happening is half the battle.
I think it's more than half the battle.
Yeah, it's like 95% probably.
It's just accepting the reality and not taking it so personally. I have another kind of section for you guys, and that is because you guys are been giving dating advice for a long time, and I wanted to know: do you think in heterosexual dating, do you think men and women need different dating advice right now?
We've never been asked that question, Julie, right?
No, I don't think so.
I think about this all the time. My listeners and audience is mostly female, but I have a lot of men listening too.
Right.
And I'm always like, I want to believe that a lot of my advice and the great dating advice out there like yours applies to everyone. But sometimes I'm like, is there some differences? Like, do men and women right now, especially for online dating, like, do we need different advice?
I mean, there's definitely some aspects that are gendered, especially for dating apps. Like we know that, you know, women don't swipe nearly as much as men. And there's definitely some gendered aspects and they focus a lot more on the profile. So like maybe for hetero men, for instance, actually putting effort into the profile might move mountains a lot more than for hetero women. So I do agree that there are some foundational differences. That being said, I think the actual levers that matter about, you know, being comfortable with who you are, being intentional about the way you date, getting clear about what you want, all of that I feel is very universal. And I actually think we're in a good place nowadays that we are talking to people as a unit. We were shocked also that we had such a male listenership. Like we thought it was going to be 100% women when we started, but we're about like, I don't know, 70-30, sometimes even 60-40. So we definitely have men listening. And I love that because historically there's been all these, you know, like pickup artist techniques and, you know, for women, how do you play hard to get? And, you know, it's just all it did was have games persist, where now I feel like having universal advice is putting us more on a level playing field to look at each other as humans.
Yeah.
I love that. I agree. I think most of it is like universal, but I think getting to the date might be the part where it's a little different. Like just but once you're on the date, it's kind of the same.
Well, again, I think it's nuanced, but it's all two sides of the same coin. Like, for example, dating apps. Men will complain that they don't get enough matches and women complain that they get too many matches and the men don't message back. Yes, there are different problems, but end of the day, the problem is, how are you using dating apps for you? How are you using it in your favor? So the end learning is the same.
One question I get asked a lot about my dating journey is, how did you manage to go on 150 dates in a year? Part of it is because I was determined to master dating. And the other part of it, well, it's because I am really big into routines. I don't know who I am without my routines. They keep me on track with everything from having relationship check ins with my husband to getting to the gym 4 times a week to making sure I always have delicious meals ready to go in the fridge. And something I recently added to my routine that I'm so excited about is AG1. AG1 is a daily health drink clinically shown to fill in common nutrient gaps. I've been adding a scoop into my protein shakes every day, and I love having a little boost of nutrients that I know I might not be getting otherwise, especially as we head into the holiday season when our schedules get thrown off and routines pretty much go out the window. It's great to have an easy way to support your body and prioritize wellness, even with this season's chaos. I've been using AG1's original flavor, which tastes like pineapple and vanilla, in my daily shake, and it's so good. I love that it helps me cover the bases with what my body needs, and with AG1, it's just so easy to do. If you're looking to boost your wellness routine, I recommend checking out AG1. Head to drinkag1.com/dating to get a free welcome kit with an AG1 flavor sampler and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 when you first subscribe. That's drinkag1.com/dating.
Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish and satin? Or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews all on the app. Download Thumbtack today.
Whenever I'm talking to people in my DMs or email, whatever, it's sometimes the answer is truly like the playing field is not even, like for dating apps and also like just, people comment on me like, you guys know my story about how I went on a ton of dates and they're like, well, you're, a white, thin, attractive female. Like, of course you did. It's like, yeah, I have privilege that I was born with being in this body that I have. It's like, yeah, the playing field isn't even. And I wish it was more even, but it's like, how can we reconcile this?
Yeah. Well, I think having, we did a podcast about like the 80-20 rule of dating apps that was kind of addressing how, women get the majority of the matches and men don't. But understanding that and like knowing that, but if you send that first message, that's going to actually go a lot further because of that. Like giving each other line of sight into the challenges like each sex is experiencing, that really helps. Like make sure that you're like more of an empathetic dater than just staying in your own lane, unaware of what the other side is thinking you're doing.
For sure.
Dating apps is the even playing field. Before dating apps, there are less privileged people who aren't able to date because they're not in the geographic locations where there's enough options for them, et cetera, right? And I think now with dating apps, I think we often use privilege as an excuse for dating apps not working for us. Yeah. But think about it this way. OkCupid did this study years and years ago, and they found that the people who had the most success, not matches, success on the platform were the people who were most specific about their interests and what they're looking for. And that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Dating apps are the place to find other people who are your people.
Yeah, that's so true. I love that. It's like that's a very hopeful, positive comment on dating apps. I feel like it's rare to
I mean, at the end of the day, though, you only need to find one person if you're monogamous. So like we hear of this all the time, like I don't get enough matches. And of course, you need to get enough people in the pipeline that you can, date and pick a good partner for yourself. But you don't need 100 matches. You don't need all these people liking your profile. Like that isn't what a relationship is built on.
Maybe sometimes you just have to recognize you're not an app person. I'm not an app person. It doesn't mean that I hate dating apps or I don't believe in them. I just know I don't thrive on dating apps. So I supplement with other things. Like I took up tennis just so I can meet people on a regular basis. That works for me.
So much.
I don't thrive on dating apps because I don't gain anything from having messages.
I love this because tennis is arguably much harder than using dating apps.
Agreed. But it energizes
and I would
me.
I would choose being on a dating app any day over playing tennis.
Isn't that great that you know yourself well to know what you like and what works for you. And for me, the question for me is like, does this energize me? And if it doesn't, I stop doing it. So yes, tennis is a lot harder, but it energizes me.
Yeah.
Right.
The messaging back and forth, at some point, my brain just can't handle it. And I just like have to power down. So we just have to know ourselves well.
Such a great point. Like I've been on the internet for a long time, and I've spent years just DMing hundreds of people every day.
Yeah.
Of course, dating apps work for me. I
Same,
love talking to people.
I'm like a big texter, so I was like, of course, I'd love doing that.
Yeah, I could have
it energizes you.
Yes.
I love it. I also think it's understanding how to use things to your advantage too, because I feel like for me, I had to uninstall notifications on apps because I didn't want to feel like I had to respond immediately, and I knew myself that I would. But having like Sunday was my day that I dove into dating apps. So it's not all or nothing either. I think so many people are like, I either need to be meeting people in real life or on apps.
Right.
It's like, you can do both. Like, just find a system that works.
Yes.
Well, okay, we have to end soon, but I just want to say this has been amazing. I have a little game for you guys.
Ooh, okay.
So I do a weekend Q&A like every week, and this week I happen to just have a lot of red flag questions. So I'm going to play this game. It's called Is It a Red Flag? Okay, so it's the rapid fire. I have a couple of them here for you. So are you ready?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. And you can say, it can be more than yes or no. You can explain your answer. Is it a red flag if you don't have similar senses of humor?
No.
Ooh, no? I don't know if it's a red flag, but I think it's hard to be compatible. Humor to me is so much.
I'm with Julie on this one. Yue, what do you think?
I mean, if you find the other person like completely boring and not funny, that's a problem. But sometimes humor takes a while to mesh and to build that rapport again. So I would give that person a little bit more time.
Red flag is not the right word either.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I see what you're saying. It's like you might need to figure it out and feel it out. But I have cut off, whatever I say, people who had a bad sense of humor or a sense of humor that I found cringy.
Yeah, right.
Like
if it's
for that
offensive,
reason.
Yes.
Yeah. Are Borat jokes offensive?
if they are to you, then they are.
It was just, I couldn't handle it. Okay, is it a red flag if you Google your date before you meet for the first time and they have no internet presence?
No.
Oh, no, definitely not.
No.
I mean, maybe if they have zero, like if they don't even have LinkedIn. But
so actually, I changed the wording of this. This person actually said that they don't have LinkedIn.
No LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Can you go private on LinkedIn?
Like your name would still pop up, but maybe your profile. I don't know.
It
how
also
LinkedIn
depends what your occupation is, right? Like if your occupation is something that wouldn't be on LinkedIn, then I don't know if it's a red flag, but I would use LinkedIn to verify the person was safe. So I'd maybe say like, is there other ways you can verify that if they have no internet presence?
Yeah, I never Googled anyone before I met them.
What?
I know. I'm like, well, I really didn't want them to Google me. I had to be like, please. I was at the time I was a cookbook author, and I am, and I had been food blogging for years. And there's like YouTube videos of me cooking, and I'm like, I just don't want you to see that before you meet me.
I mean, I definitely didn't meet up with someone that I found on Facebook because of their Facebook. Like I called the date. I was like, nope.
All right. Okay, so you're saying it's not necessarily a red flag if they have no internet presence.
I mean, sometimes
it's suspect.
It's suspect.
But sometimes they could be protecting their identity. Like they could be a multi-billionaire and they just don't want you to know it yet. Best case scenario.
Maybe ask more questions.
Yeah, I agree. Is it a red flag if you have great dates but minimal communication in between the dates?
Again, it's the use of the word red flag that's getting me. Everyone just wants to throw up red flag at everything. I don't think it's a red flag.
Well, I guess should this make me pause and think?
Yeah. I think it should make you at least have a conversation with the person and like share that you want to have more communication. I think everyone has different communication styles. So it might not mean like they're not into you necessarily, but if it's something that's a deep seated need for you, you absolutely should share that or it's not going to work.
And it's so subjective. Some people feel like a text a day is more than enough and some people feel like it's not enough. So it's a conversation to be had for sure.
Agree. I fully agree. I mean, I personally think if someone's planning dates with you consistently, even if they're not texting a lot, it's a great sign. Like,
Yes.
in-person time trumps dating in-person time trumps texting every single time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. This one, am I a red flag if I have slept with a lot of people?
Absolutely not.
No, you're not a red flag.
So I had a couple questions about body count, which is a phrase I hate, but if you're listening, you know what it is.
Kill people.
So
I know it's so bad, but I wish we had. I don't know what a better phrase is. Just like the number of people you've been intimate with, but like they're like, if he asks about body count on the first date, is that a red flag? It's like
if he uses the word body count, it's a red flag.
Yeah, that's a red flag. Yes. You're out. You're out then.
Out. Is wanting to talk about politics on a first date a red flag?
No. Especially in today's world, everyone's talking about politics.
Yeah, it's an election year. This is a great time to talk about politics.
If you're not talking about politics at all, maybe that's a red flag. I don't know.
It can't be the only thing you're talking about, but
Yes.
yeah, it's not like you have to avoid it.
Yeah. Okay. Last one. If he likes a bunch of girls' selfies after we hooked up, is that a red flag?
Like on Instagram?
Yeah.
Maybe not like that you after you hooked up, but just the fact that he's going around liking people's selfies all the time, it just gives me an ick factor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's, again, needs to be a conversation. I know someone who recently went through this with his girlfriend. They've been together for a while, and then he just has this, I don't know, he says it's like a habit of just going on Instagram and liking hot
Like
girls on
mindlessly.
Instagram. It's mindless. Yeah. It's like, it's just like a reflex for him.
It's like me just kind of shopping while watching TV. I like don't
Exactly.
even know what I'm buying. I'm like,
Same thing. Exact
what
same
he
thing.
said. That's what he said. He's so used to having that behavior before he got in a relationship that he carried it into his relationship.
Okay.
So his girlfriend had a conversation with him. So now he's more mindful of not doing that. But he didn't even realize he was doing it.
Yes. Okay. So the person who asked this, and this person has actually asked me this every single week, and I have not answered it.
You saved it for us. Thanks.
I don't know. I think this is an early dating situation that's not in a defined relationship, like not in a long-term relationship. I think the red flag is stalking who they're liking.
Yeah,
That's what I think. It's like, why are we checking up on people? If you're not in a relationship with them, they're allowed to do whatever they want. Like, even if they are in a relationship, they're allowed to do what they want. In this case, it's like, and then you talk about it, but don't check up on people like on their Instagram. It doesn't make you feel good.
No.
Yeah. That's a good point.
That's my red flag. Secret red flag. This has been so insightful. Again, you guys are legends. You have truly seen it all with the dating. So I just appreciate all the wisdom you've shared with us today. And I would love to just hear one more question. What do you want to see more of in dating culture right now?
Oh, that's another great question.
I want to see more connection. Like less people just complaining about bad dates and dating apps and dating going nowhere, and bring back that feeling of like, I genuinely had a good time in this person's presence, or I met someone really cool last night. Even if it's not your forever person, even if there's not romantic vibes, just seeing glass half full a little more. I would like to bring that back.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. Yue?
I would like to see more people ask the question, how can I do this differently?
Mm.
To themselves.
To themselves. How can I do dating differently? Because we get so entrenched in dating culture and we feel like we're just part of the grind. It's all the bad dating behaviors, the dating apps, is it A, B, C, D, is like all of it. We can list it out. But I want to hear more daters going, I don't succumb to any of that because I don't need to be part of that. I figured out my own way to make dating work for me.
Rise
Love
above it.
Yes. You guys are so inspiring. Where can we find more of you both?
Dateable Podcast.
LinkedIn. We are definitely on LinkedIn.
Stalk us on Venmo and LinkedIn. But yeah, dateablepodcast.com, at Dateable Podcast. Dateable Podcast on all the podcast players where it's easy to find us.
Love it. Well, thanks again, guys. This has been so fun.
Oh, thanks for having us,
Thank
Talia. This
you.
is a great conversation.
What did you think of this conversation? What were your aha moments? You can drop a comment below if you're listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube, or you can DM me on Instagram at dating.intentionally. I love hearing from you. And if you're not already, make sure to listen to Dateable anywhere you get your podcast and follow them on Instagram at Dateable, one word, for their amazing advice. I want to thank you for listening. Thanks for trusting me. I hope this episode helped you get in the right mindset for dating. And don't forget, you're doing great. I'd love it if you share this episode with someone who is navigating dating and might need a little confidence boost or some tough love. If any of these episodes have helped you in your journey, you can help me by leaving a stunning review on Apple or giving Dating Intentionally 5 stars on Spotify. I'd really appreciate it. Once again, I'm Talia. This has been Dating Intentionally, and I'll see you on Tuesday with a new solo episode.